Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is I, student Rabbi Shmuel, and talking about this week's portion, which is called Terumah. Terumah means portion. And the portion starts off with the commandment that everybody should take a portion and contribute to what's about to become the sanctuary. Now, the Israelites are now in the wilderness, they're in the desert, and except for one brief part with the unfortunate incident of the golden calf, where some of the Israelites and some of the rabble that was with them that left Egypt that were still idol worshippers wanted to have an idol. They don't believe, these are people that cannot worship God without having some type of physical representation or manifestation. So aside from that, the rest of Exodus, the next bunch of chapters, talks about the building of the sanctuary. Okay, now the sanctuary is very interesting because it was portable, and it involved the construction of the different parts. There were planks that could be put up and taken down whenever as they were traveling. It involved curtains to seal the different chambers. And it also had some artifacts in it. One of them, they had a menorah, This was a seven-stemmed menorah. This was the menorah that was indigenous to the Great Temple. The Hanukkah menorah, which most people think of when they think of menorah, also called the Chanukiah, had, of course, 8 different candle holders, plus the shamash, which was the main one. And that, of course, was unique to Hanukkah. But, of course, there was a 7-stemmed menorah that was part of the temple accoutrements, if you will. In addition, there was a table that contained the showbread, and this is where we get the idea of the challah. The challah, of course, the Hebrew word for bread is lechem. What challah was the grain offering, the mincha. And the showbread, there was 12 loaves, one for each tribe, that was baked once a week, and the loaves were set there and remained there all week. And then on Friday, the Kohanim, the priests, would eat the showbread. They would eat the loaves, and those loaves would be replaced by 12 new loaves for the upcoming week. And finally, they had the ark, which contained the 10 Commandments. Now, a question that we talked about last night in class was how many tablets were there? And of course, some of them said, well, there was 2. You had the 2 tablets, 5 commandments on one side, 5 commandments on the other. In a sense, you really had 4, But what happened to the first set of tablets? They were broken. Moses smashed them. Now, that's something that's coming up later on. But the ark contained the pieces of the first 10 Commandments, and of course the rest of the second tablets that he went up and got, and that was holy. And then there was things for the priest. There was the breastplate with 12 stones, 1 stone for each tribe. So as the portion opens again, we talk about portion. Terumah is portion, and Moses is asking the Israelites to contribute their goods and some of their personal items to the building of the sanctuary. And there was a lot of gold and there was silver because, of course, we're worshiping Hashem. And this is a place where the Shekhinah, the presence of Hashem, of God, is going to be. So, of course, people all of a sudden became very motivated. They had this sense of devotion, this sense of, wow, we're free, we're a people now. And they want to contribute to this new series of ethics and morality that is now Judaism. And remember that a lot of the Israelites had a lot of materials. They had silver, they had gold that was taken from the Egyptians. Now, it was taken from the Egyptians as payment for all the years of slavery when they didn't get paid, when they had measly portions to eat. So in a sense, they were being compensated for their troubles, for their work rather, So let's take a look a little bit, and we're going to go into the Chumash here. This is the Art Scroll Chumash. It is the Orthodox version, just so we can be more specific about some of the things that were that were offered. Okay, so here's a representation of the ark. I'll hold it up here so you can see it. That's kind of what the ark looked like, and as you can see on top, there was a picture of two cherubim, which were angels with the wings, and the wings touched each other on either side. Okay, and then they had the showbread. This was the table that was used. You can see that. And on top it was what the bread actually looked like, and you see there's places for the 12 loaves. They also had the menorah. Okay, this is the 7-stem menorah that was part of that was lit every day, and it had places for the oil to be in where the flame could be lit. And I want to show as well what the actual here is the ark. This is where a lot of the sacrifices went. You can see the horns where the blood of the animal that was drained was put in, and of course you see the staves that where it was carried. But here, what the actual Aron HaKodesh looked like, the actual rendering of the sanctuary. And of course you can see it's portable. So you had planks that had like these two pegs and something would go on it to hold it. It was like kind of a dowel that would go on to hold the two planks together, and this would be consistent throughout the construction, the putting it up. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that this was a portable sanctuary. Okay, portable. We attended a lecture a few years back by a Rabbi Shochet, who was an instructor at one of the Jewish universities in LA. And the first thing he said is that this is a portable religion. Now think about it. Okay, we no longer have the temple, but as the sanctuary was portable, so is all of our artifacts, if you will. Okay, you see we have a Chumash, which is the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, with, of course, explanation. We have our Tanakh, but what else do we have? We have our own talit and yarmulkes, right? I'm wearing one. You can't see it, but there it is. Okay. We also have the tefillin. These are, I guess they call them phylacteries. This is what we wind around our arm and put on our head in compliance with the commandment from the V'ahavta, that you shall put them on your arm, because the arm is what does all the action, and we use the weaker arm. And you should be assigned between your eyes, and that's the head tefillin that's on there. So Judaism is really a portable religion. We have synagogues dotting the landscape in different areas, and if you walk into a synagogue, it's really kind of always the same. I mean, they're built differently, of course, but what's the same is that there's always an ark. You have the Torah scrolls, the 5 books of Moses. You know, you've got chairs facing east. You've got prayer books. You've got Humashim. People can engage in a service, and we can practice our religion, even though we don't have the temple now. We do indeed have all the necessary devices, artifacts, all the things we need to do in order to worship Hashem, and to make sure, and why do we worship Hashem, of course, to make sure that we're living a good life. Okay, that's really what Judaism is all about. Back in the days when Israel, when Judea, the promised land, was established, there was no separation of church and state. There was no church, there was no state. Excuse me. It was all one. All of the laws that are contained in here were laws that people lived by. Well, yes, you've got the religious laws about Shabbat and about honoring God and not taking God's name in vain, not making any graven images. Yes, you've got all the religious laws, but you've also got a lot of civil laws. Laws like don't murder, don't steal, right? Don't envy someone else's belongings to the point where you want to take them, because, of course, Hashem has allotted you your portion based on who and what you are. Don't be honest in weights and measures. Do not put a stumbling block in front of an impaired person, and this is not just physical, but it's also literal. You don't take advantage of somebody in a business deal who doesn't understand all the facts. So that's basically our portion. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you're in the Murrieta Temecula Inland Empire Southwest area, B'nai Chaim, of course, is being repaired. So next week, March 11th, at my house, Beit Epstein, if you will. We will be hosting a kid-friendly service. It will start at 9:45, and by previous agreement, it will go for an hour and a half. This is kid-friendly. It's designed for kids really of all ages, because what we do, we want to make sure that our young people carry on the 3,500-year-old tradition, and we're getting them used to it, so we want to help them understand the service. So there's a lot of explanation, there's participation, we'll have discussions of the particular Torah portion, and of course, as in every Jewish event, there will be food, okay? So come, bring your appetite, bring your interest, and we hope to see you there. This is Rabbi Shmuel wishing you a Shabbat Shalom, and of course, a great Shavuot Tov week after that.